Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Gary, welcome to the Sunday Club. Hope you've all had a good week, hope you've all had a good weekend. First off, obviously big congratulations to Newcastle, League Cup winners. One for the rest of the country, I think that was, after hearing the Liverpool fans yet again boo the national anthem. Yeah, good, I'm glad. I'm glad Newcastle won. Hope everyone's doing well. Now, for some reason, on my stream, your guys' chats aren't coming through. I can see them on my thing, but for some reason on my pop-out chat they're not. So I'm going to have to work this quite cleverly. So let's have a look. Bohemian Robert, welcome. Nice to have you with us. Bohemian straight in with the question. So tonight's question is Tuchel's squad a step backwards. Bohemian's come out and said he reckons so. Robert saying the 21 team lineup looks better. I don't know if anyone have watched my latest video, my Albania video. Sorry, my squad reaction video. I think the under-21 team, I think they've done it right. The under-21 Euros is this summer, and obviously we're defending champions, and this is the last squad before that tournament. So I think they've just stacked it. They've just stacked the under-21s with the best under-21s we've got, and obviously in a bid to retain the title. And hopefully they're probably thinking that those players are going to earn more from going to a tournament and potentially winning it with under-21s than what they are playing against Albania and Latvia. And I sort of agree with that. So yeah, that under-21 team is stacked, proper stacked. But of course tonight we're going to be looking. You'll see the lineup. I've marked Newcastle's win. We won't go much onto that, but Tuchel's squad we're definitely going to have a look at. England versus Albania, for those who haven't watched my preview video, we'll go a little bit into that, but I encourage you to go watch it. Home Nations bid. This is a bit of news that may actually have passed a few people by, so we'll catch up on that one as well. And obviously I will talk about my video drop on Wednesday. That's been a long time coming. So yeah, a lot to cover, actually. Obviously, I've not been on for a couple of weeks. I was in Prague and then in Newcastle, so it's great to be back. And hopefully, we'll have a good evening tonight. Lots to talk about. So, Robert Tuchel's going to have to work hard to prove us wrong next week. I mean, it's performances we need, isn't it? Albania, possibly. Am I underestimating Albania? I don't know, but it's performances that are going to be a big part of this. It's not the fact that no England fan's going to be impressed if we beat Albania, are they? Whether Albania are a good team or not, the win alone won't be enough, and it'll be about the performance, the manner in which we win that victory. So yeah, I sort of agree. It's going to be, I think, one negative result or one negative performance, and already the people are going to be on him, aren't they? Bohemian, it's less than Henderson is in the squad, and more that Tuchel said that he'd be integral going forward. Southgate didn't drop experienced players lightly, and I'd say probably did so with Henderson at the right time, so it feels like rather a wasteful step back to me. I sort of agree. I think Conor Gallagher was the one. I know there's injuries and things like that, but I just think surely Conor Gallagher with his work rate, and he's a relatively experienced player now, but obviously not as experienced as Henderson, I get that, but I don't know. Look, these managers know these players better than what we do, so there must be something about Henderson in the dressing room, or something about him as a player that for some reason he really likes and wants him around. Maybe he's looking at leaders for next summer, and have England got a lot of leaders in the squad. We're not going to win the Euros with a squad full of 20, 21-year-olds, I don't think. So I sort of get it, but Henderson does feel a little bit step backwards, doesn't he? Gate 102, evening, mate. Great to have you with us. Buzzing for the Newcastle of Eddie Howe. What a manager. Yeah, hopefully the future England manager. I mean, this may be the England manager in 18 months' time, because Tuchel, is he likely to stay on whether we win or lose the World Cup? You know, could Eddie Howe be already the manager in line? I mean, almost just over a year from now, could he be England's next manager? Probably a bit early, but you never know. What a week for Dan Burns has been him. Absolutely. I mean, it's great. I'm so glad that in English football, English managers and English players are still making the records at these clubs, and obviously famously Newcastle hadn't won a domestic trophy in 70 years, and it's great that a local boy was on the score sheet tonight and an English manager won the trophy. Great stuff. Gate 102, Albania could cause upsets. They draw against Croatia in the Euros and only narrowly lost to Spain and Italy. Yeah, a lot of people have said that to me. I just feel like sometimes England in qualifiers as well, we tend to be even better, don't we? It's at tournaments sometimes when you feel like we don't turn up. But in qualifiers, these sorts of teams, we tend to brush them aside. But Yeah, maybe I have underestimated Albania a little bit. A lot of people were saying that Albania are the strongest team in this group after England, stronger than Serbia. I mean, we'll wait to see that. Still should beat them though, so Gate 102. Ollie, being quite nice though. Every time Southgate's picked a dodgy squad, you'd have clowns like Mark Goldbridge saying he needs to be sacked tonight. Now when he does, people say, shut the fuck up, he's Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, is a lot of, almost, I would say 90% of the action to Thomas Tuchel's squad was really poor. Like, people were absolutely slating it. And people were losing their minds. Absolutely losing their minds over, particularly Jordan Henderson. A little bit of Kyle Walker as well. I think the main talking points that people seem to be not as interested about was Branthwaite should have been picked in defence, possibly over Kwanzaa. He's picked 4 goalkeepers. Maybe you think fair enough. Phil Foden has somehow got in the squad, but I get it. The temptation for Thomas Tuchel or another manager to come in and not pick Phil Foden, who, let's be honest, we're hoping will be a key player at the World Cup next year. It's just, yeah, there's a few other ones where you just feel that's what we should be more upset about. And obviously the Forest lads missing out. I think that was a really, really odd one for me. Really, really odd one. England will beat Albania 3-1, says Darius. Bohemian, I hope I'm wrong, but I think we might just see how well Southgate did. Sorry, I hope I'm wrong. But I think, look, there was a meme going around online, and I think I did put it in my video, saying that people were saying, oh, it's Southgate in disguise with this squad. Good. I hope it is Southgate in disguise. I hope Thomas Tuchel is Southgate in disguise. The idea that that's a criticism amongst the English fan base online, that England squad was that bad, he's classed as Southgate in disguise. Where's the negativity there? Southgate's the most successful England manager we've had in literally a lifetime. So good. I hope that is the case, but it's just bizarre. It showed the worst of the English fan base, I think, this squad. And the fact that we just don't trust the manager. Just trust him. He knows what he's doing. Well, I'm sure he knows what he's doing better than us. He knows these players from an actual relationship perspective. He'll have got information from the backroom staff or whatever. Let's just give him these 12 to 18 months with no hassle. Just leave him to it. And if he brings it home, he brings it home. If he doesn't, then we've not lost anything because we haven't been doing it for 60 years, have we? So why Albania is better than Serbia? Well, that's what some people are saying, Darius. I think Serbia is better team with better players. Well, I put Serbia as a better team, but a lot of people have been coming back to me saying Albania might be actually the second dark horse in this group. Bohemian, I'm more dismayed than anything. As I said on the squad reaction video, smacks of McLaren bringing Beckham back for me. Yeah, I did read that comment, mate, and I sort of agree with you. I'll be honest with you, though, it nearly did work for McLaren that night. It was when Croatia beat us at home, wasn't it, to knock us out? I think... yeah, it almost did work, really, if I'm honest with you. Gibbs White has just been called up now because of Palmer's injury. Oh, I've missed that one. Well, that's well-deserved then. Well-deserved. I missed that with the cup final and the business. So, I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it's not brilliant. Palmer's injured, but that's brilliant news. And it makes perfect sense, doesn't it, for Gibbs White to be called up? Absolutely. Robert Stevens, I love Southgate, but Tuchel is going to elevate our game. He's an elite tactician and winner. It's never worked out for England, just picking the best players, so I'm going to trust it. Exactly, Robert. And I think that's the attitude we've got to have. And ultimately, this is the problem, is no one's... I mean, we are. This isn't a criticism of anyone in this chat. Or there might be some people in here who are casual England fans, but the majority of us here love England. We'll go and watch England all the time. The problem is, though, when squads get announced, it's full of casual England fans slating on it and just love slated England. Just love slated England. So, look, just for God's sake, give them a chance. Josh Phillips, member for 5 months. Look at that. I cannot thank you enough, sir. Good evening. I hope you've all had a good week. Chris Longcore, 3 wins for Derby. Yeah, mate, they might stay up. I think they're going to stay up. I think we need to calm about Tuchel's first squad. Absolutely. The reaction has been just outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Gate 102, Josh Phillips. Yeah, I mean, Gate 102 has definitely got his finger on the pulse because I hadn't heard that, but it's great news if he has. Just confirmed about 5 minutes ago. See, I'm busy setting this up. So thank you. You guys are better to bring the news sometimes. Cole Palmer got injured, got too warm. Says Robert. Josh Phillips, such a good player. Should have been one of the first players in to start with. Hi, Darius, Josh, Robert, Gate, Bohemian and Co. There's a nice group of us now, isn't there? And he's surprisingly got a good sense of humour for a German. You've got to in this. I mean, he's either going to laugh or cry, isn't he, with some of the crap he's going to be asked over these years. The problem is, and this is where I worry about it, is we've seen it. Southgate got the stick, but we know you can already see it. Tuchel is going to get absolutely torn to pieces the moment anything doesn't go perfectly right, and that's the problem, and that's the frustration I'm going to have. Look, we're going to have frustrating nights. We always do. Every manager's not going to get it right every night. But I think I said in my video, he's got 6 camps. He's got 6 camps. I think it works out like 30 days or something outrageously small for him to get his squad together and get it right. In one ways, then you could think, well, the Jordan Henderson thing makes even less sense, because if you've only got a short amount of time, why would you bring someone who's possibly not going to go to the World Cup? But maybe he is. Maybe he's looking at Henderson thinking, you know what? There's a core group of players here. Harry Kane might be one of them. Kyle Walker might be another. Jordan Henderson. Maybe a player in each area of the position who's truly experienced. And he might think, I need these players in the squad. Because is it better to take them than 3 or 4 players that are 2021 who aren't going to get any minutes anyway? So, look, I'm not going to sit here and criticise him. If that's what he decides to do, that's what he decides to do. Just let's just get behind him. I think Tuchel's first game will be rough. England 2-1, Albania last-minute winner. Really, despite what people believe, Southgate wasn't the problem, but Tuchel could be the slight improvement we need. I mean, if we beat Albania 2-1 with a last-minute goal, I mean, people will take it, but I think he's going to get absolutely destroyed if that happens. England have a shortage of central midfielders. Yeah, we certainly do at the minute with injuries. I mean, I think people were crying out for Wharton, and I think he's a great player, but he's only started 2 games since last October. I think everyone needs to calm down a little bit on him. I mean, I even heard people calling for Joe Bellingham to be called up. It's like, just everyone calm down. Calm down. Josh hated the squad, to be honest, but now Gibbs White's there. I like it more. Really not happy about a couple of players like Wharton not there. And now, look, I do get it. But I also understand it as well. Jolly Robinson, can't wait to go to the game on Friday. Feels like a new era for England. Yeah, I think the Friday game is going to be really good. The Monday, I don't think not so much. I think the Monday game should have been on the road. They're not going to sell Wembley out on Monday night, and I guarantee now, look at the home end. Whoever's going, depending on where you sat, you might be in the home end, the official home end, where the England supporters tend to take up blocks 109, blocks 110, all those sorts of places. Have a look at that end of the ground. I guarantee you now, by half-time latest, it will be empty, because people will scan the tickets and go home. And I reckon you'll get maximum 60,000. I think they're still selling tickets. So anyone in the chat wants to go and see England, this is a great game. I know it's Monday nights against Latvia, but they're not going to sell it out. And I think it's one of those games they should have had on the road for me. But Friday night, it'd be really good. Really good new era. Wharton has to be starting soon, though. He's unreal every time he plays. No, I agree. And to be honest with you, this time, isn't there? This time he's got another couple of squads. Maybe he'll be back in another squad. Maybe it's difficult to say. Is he fully fit? Has he had these conversations? I go back to the under-21. Look at that under-21 squad. It's stacked. You can see that they're aiming to go there and win the tournament this summer. So maybe none of these under-21s like Wharton are going to be picked in the next squad. It may be the ones later on in the season or later on in the year where they start to come back through, because I think they're right. Wharton going to the summer at the Euros and winning a trophy, or potentially winning a trophy, is much better experience for him as a player and in his future career than winning against Albania and Latvia on a Friday and Monday night. Bemused by Reece James in the squad as well. We all know he's going to get injured again. Now, the problem is his class, isn't he, if he's fit? And it's like, do you pick him thinking, you know what, let's not bother now because he's always injured? But, excuse me, he may not be. Let's fingers crossed he may not be, because he's a class player. Gate 1 or 2, I think, I might be wrong, but I think Tuchel said Wharton will be training with the first team for the first few sessions. And this is what I mean, there's a lot of dynamics that'll be going off. He'll be looking at those other players. I mean, just because they're in an under-21 team doesn't mean that he's not looked at them or they won't be working together. And I think they've just put the right players in the right squads for the right occasion at the right time of the year. And I go back to that tournament again with the under-21s and the fact that this is only Albania and Latvia, and I say only with a pinch of, not trying to be too cocky here, but we should be beating them, shouldn't we? So maybe he's brought Henderson in to look at who the leaders are for next summer, even if they don't play. Every manager, I would suggest, has picked players for tournaments that necessarily won't play, but they've picked them for the dressing room. I honestly believe James and Shaw are our best right backs and left backs, but they just never fit. So hard to rely. I mean, the left back's wide open. I think it's quite telling that Rico Lewis has dropped back down to the 21s as well. I mean, could Livramento play there? The full-back positions, particularly as we've been going on about how stacked they have been for years, it's difficult. I mean, I'm quite disappointed Trent's injured because I was interested to see what he was going to do with Trent. Will he play him as a midfielder or will he play him as a right back? I think he's a real anomaly that I wasn't quite sure what he was going to do with him. Yeah, Livramento was class today. Game 1 or 2, absolutely agree. Also, if Tuchel really wants experience, why not pick Welbeck as well? Wow, it's still there. Look, Welbeck for England. I'm keeping that up until the next World Cup. This is a Welbeck for England fan club in here. That is staying there. It is, Josh. That on the 21 squad, but I think that's it. Let's go and potentially win that Euros. And like I said, I think that's far better experience for some of these players than playing some of these qualifiers for next World Cup. And it doesn't mean that they can't come in later on. And he will see them. He will see them, obviously, in training and other bits. I mean, the Albania game, if anyone hasn't watched my preview video, go and watch it. I'm not giving my score in here just to encourage you to go and watch it, but I think you've pretty much guessed that. I've predicted that England will win that game. And I think England should win it comfortably. I think this is a different Albania team, though, to what we had last time. We had them in our last World Cup qualification campaign, beat them twice. I think it was 5-0 and 2-0. 5-0 at home, 2-0 away from home. They're a better Albania team than that. I'll give them that. But I think England are a better England team than what we were then. So, yeah. Well, maybe not the squad, actually. The squad is really, it's struggling a lot with injuries, isn't it? I think we need to start a petition for Welbeck to get in the squad. Let's do it. I'm going to set one up next week. Let's do it. He's been quality, though, hasn't he? It's been quality. I mean, I don't know how serious we want to get into this because imagine the. I mean, would it if he'd have picked Danny Welbeck, would that have had as much stick as Anderson? I don't think it would have because I think most people then would have been realising and the big talk would have been actually, he's played really, really well. He's played really, really well. There is some plays in there that you do have to question, but we've got to trust him. There's a lot of injuries, like I said, but let's. I mean. I did prepare the squad, so let me quickly load it up here. I mean, Lewis Skelly, obviously, with his call-up, great stuff. The 4 goalkeepers, I think, is really interesting. I mentioned that before. I mean, I think Gordon has to start. I'm looking up that top pitch now, and I think, I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking maybe it just is Gordon and Bowen. Maybe Solanke, the 2 best players to start alongside Kane, because I think they've had better seasons than Foden and Rashford. In the middle of the pitch, I mean, I was a little bit surprised Eze got picked, but I think injuries. Morgan Rogers absolutely deserves his place, so it looks like Gibbs White then is coming in for Palmer. Dan Burn, legend. Colwill, Gahey. I mean, who's the centre backs? Is it Gahey and Konza? Do we think? Konza, not Kwanzaa. That is. It's really annoying that them two have got names that are so similar. I mean, what's Carl Walker's role in this squad as well? Because you're looking there and you're thinking, does he come in at right back? You know, can we afford to have 2 inexperienced fullback? Could Livramento go right back and Lewis Skelly possibly left back? I don't know really. I hope Luke Shaw doesn't get caught up again. Rarely fit. Well, he wasn't too bad before, but over this past year, he's just crumbled, hasn't he? Surely Pickford is bench for these games if we have 4+ keepers. I mean, all I would say is we've got to start to look to the future. Pickford's our number 1 for the World Cup, I agree, but maybe Robert, we've got to. Let's have a look at some of these other players. I might be wrong, but I don't think anyone asked Tuchel about the need for 4 goalkeepers, which came in. Yeah, no one did. I watched the whole the press conference after. Not a single person asked Thomas Tuchel about the 4 goalkeepers being picked, which I found really bizarre. Not a single person asked him. Or about Phil Foden. He never seemed to get asked about neither because he's been crap, hasn't he? Let's be honest, he's been terrible. And I think the thing is with Phil Foden, he's always been crap in an England shirt as well. So it's not like you're picking him based on his performances for England. I love Eze, but did he deserve it this time? Well, he certainly didn't, did he? Over certain players that I've missed out. I mean, I would put Gallagher I mean, how Gallagher's missed out, I don't know. Especially as he's picked over Gibbs White to start with. I don't know. I think the one for me is the one player I've asked for time and time again is Branthwaite. I don't understand it. The guy's a unit. He's having a good season. I know he's got the odd mistake in him, but he's surely good enough for a call-up. Surely. I mean, I'd say Branthwaite's had a better season than Kwanzaa by quite some margin. I don't know. I may be wrong there. Most of the kids will be available for September when under-21 Euros is finished. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. I think the under-21s, with the fact that the tournament's coming up, has dominated this a little bit as well. In my opinion, if Luke Shaw is fit, big if, he's still England's best left back, but luckily we now have a player like Lewis Hall. I mean, what a shame it was that Lewis Hall's been injured. And it's such a devastating injury. Will he be the same player when he's back? It is real. I mean, Saka's obviously the huge admission from this as well. He obviously comes straight back in. I mean, the system, Gate 102 is talking about the system. We've not even mentioned the system. And I was thinking, I mean, on my video, I was thinking, what systems are going to play? Is this squad going to, like, sort of give us an idea? I mean, it hasn't really, has it? It has not really given us a huge amount of ideas in terms of what we think is going to play. Because, like I said, he's not going to play two goalkeepers. So, yeah, it's... the system for me, Friday night, that's what I'm most looking forward to. And I think that's why I'm glad I'll be watching it live, is because you can see the system much better live. The TV, sometimes you can't see the whole pitch all the time. You can't see how everyone's playing. So I think it'd be really interesting to watch the game and see who plays where, and certainly how we attack and how we drop deep. I think the defence, we need to look stronger at the back when we lose the ball, in those transition periods in particular. Every time England lost the ball, any sort of area of the pitch, we seem to be really easy to counter against. So I'd go 4-3-3, Pickford, Walker, Konza, Gahey, Livramento, Rice, Jones, Bellingham, Bowen, Kane, Gordon. Yeah, very good, strong squad. Nice mix there. Robert Stevenson, apparently this is an inside joke in Germany about how terrible English keepers are, so maybe this is a big focus for him. Well, maybe. I mean, if you watched his press conference, there was a lot of German press there, and they was asking him questions, and they asked him to answer in German. He said, no, I'm going to answer in English. So it's quite interesting, that was. I love Eze, but I've read that one. Oh, no, sorry. I love Eze, but he didn't deserve it this time, especially as he was picked over Gibbs White. Yeah, no, it's not right, is it? Ollie, the joke should have died when Pickford kept a clean sheet against them at Euro 21. Look, Pickford's easily the number one. And I think he's better than Neuer. I've said that, so I don't know what the German's on about. Bohemian... Will be interesting to see how well Forest England players do in Europe next season. Maybe if they do well, that might sway Tuchel. I will say this, right? He's gone a bit big club syndrome, hasn't he? In terms of who he's picked. He's definitely gone a bit big club syndrome, because that's the only way you can probably argue why they haven't been included. I think he'll go back four, as I'm not sure he'll play as a left wing back in a back three, but could be wrong. I mean, that's the thing. Back four, back three, back five. Back three when we've got the ball, back five when we haven't. It'd be interesting to know. Zalz, I don't know if you're new to the channel, mate, but welcome. Albania versus England. I have done a prediction video, so I will encourage you to go and watch that. It's on my channel. But look, I'll tell you now. I've gone for 4-0. I think England are going to win 4-0. But I understand, actually, that I may have underestimated them, Albania. But as an England fan, the Albania we've only ever seen is not a very good one against England. But I did say earlier, before you came on, that this Albania team is stronger. It's probably the strongest Albanian team England's ever played. So maybe I am doing them a disservice there. But I just think England at home, new manager. I just think it's all a little bit against you with the new manager factor coming in as well. Don't understand how Goldbridge thinks Pickford is, mate, honestly. Anybody, right? Genuinely, I have this conversation with so many people, and England fans who are like, no, Pickford needs to be dropped. Anyone who calls for Pickford to be dropped, I switch off. Some things I'll have a debate about. Some things are open for debate. Any fan who just automatically seems to believe that Pickford is droppable in an England shirt, you just think, come on. I lose interest, I switch off, I don't get into it, because I feel like I can't argue with an idiot. It is just, honestly, Pickford, he cannot have done any better. Every keeper in the world has got a mistake in them. But Pickford is just, for England, he's just... I think I've said it before, I think he's England's best ever goalkeeper. And I know he hasn't won a trophy, but honestly, he's done everything. I mean, look at that penalty shot against England. I've spoke about this time and time again. I just think he's a classic player who's just... no one will appreciate him truly until he's gone. And I don't mean died. I mean retired. I think Pickford is the same level as these so-called world-class goalkeepers, but because he plays for Everton, he can underestimate at times. Mate, Everton's like record keeping clean sheet. Honestly, this it's outrageous. The stick that Pickford has had over his career, absolutely outrageous. Chris Longcore, clickbait Ridge, good one. Ollie, some Mark Goldbridge, say Mark Goldbridge, who thinks Shilton and Seaman have been better than Pickford for England. Shilton got jumped by a midget, and Seaman who fell into his own net. No, it's not even close, mate. Pickford's twice as good as those two put together. Listen to Goldbridge is your first problem there. I'll be honest with you, I do know him, but it took me. I'm quite new to Goldbridge, actually. Believe it or not, I did not know much about him at all until very recently, and I think it was when I was doing. I'd heard of him, but I'd only really started to get heard of him when I did some research for my documentary that's coming on Wednesday. We'll talk about that in a second, but there's a little bit of you'll see. But that's when I started to. I've watched some of his videos and I know he does That's Football. But I mean, fair play to the bloke. He's done amazing, hasn't he? But yeah, you can see it's all about a lot of screaming, a lot of outrageous comments. There's not a keeper close to Pickford, says Josh. No, I completely agree, mate. Jason, in my opinion, I don't know if you knew Jason, but welcome to the channel. In my opinion, I think England will play a back five on defence and 3 on press, with 2 wing backs, with Reece James at right wing back and Lewis Skelly at left wing back. Rice and Curtis Jones as your central midfield, Bellingham as well. Yeah, I mean, It is the defence. It's not so much the attack. It is that the defence is I think the main difference that Tuchel's going to bring to this. Is it going to be that back 5? I'm doubtful they'll play a back 5, but I could be wrong. He could be playing. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. But maybe you're right, Jason. It wouldn't surprise me. If he played a back 5, given the squad as well. When you look at the amount of midfielders and attacking players that are out injured and how stacked we are on defenders in this squad, it probably wouldn't surprise me if he did play a back 5. So, yeah, maybe you're on something there, mate. Maybe you are definitely on something. Nick Pope has won a trophy. Is he England quality? The problem is with Nick Pope, he's not good enough with the ball at his feet. I mean, he made a fantastic save today. But I think the last time Southgate played him in the England squad, he started him and he was just Pickford with the ball at his feet, his distribution. That is one of the things that sets him apart. And this is where Trafford is the better option. He's not there yet, but he's much more of that modern keeper that we're going to need. Pickford is so strong with the ball at his feet, and Pope I don't think strong enough with. At that, I think that's key. If you watch England, a lot of moves, a lot of possession. We keep the ball. A lot of it goes through Pickford. Pickford has an awful lot of touches of the ball for a goalkeeper. Well, that's certainly under Gareth Southgate. Anyway, it may change, but I just feel like Pope doesn't have that in his locker. I think Goldbridge needs to watch you, Garrett, and you can show him how he's done. Yeah, well, I don't think he'll agree with that, mate. If once I've got 1.5 million subscribers, maybe. But I think I'm very small fry, mate. I think when a few more players are back, like Trent, Saka, he will go to 2 centre-backs with left back and right back and go wingers with Gordon and Saka. So you think he's going to be forced to play a back 5 then, Jason, by the sounds of it, but when players are back, he'll drop to a back 4? Okay, yeah, no, maybe. But is he going to want to start the system now? I mean, surely the system he plays, and this is why I'm most interested, surely the system he plays on Friday and Monday is the system he wants to play for the World Cup. Or will he play two? I mean, it'll be really confuse me if he plays 2 different systems, but Pope made a bad error last time he played for England, the 3-3 draw against Germany. Yeah, I don't think he's good enough for the ball at his feet. That's my judgment on Pope. For me, I wouldn't pick him at all in my squads. And I know that's harsh because he's a good shot stopper, but I just don't think he's good enough in the other parts, and I think that's key for a footballer now. The answer was obviously no. Josh Phillips, so happy Newcastle won the Cup today. Finally have an English manager who's won a trophy. Yeah, no, it's great stuff. It is great stuff, mate, and it's good for the English game, isn't it? I mean, it's outrageous. Everyone's saying they haven't won a trophy, and I was like, hang on a minute, they did win the championship. It's weird how winning the championship isn't counted as a trophy, because clearly it is. You've won a league, but everyone's just completely forgot about that, or doesn't mention it. It's not treated as a trophy, but they did win the championship. Let's not forget that. And batter the championship as well. But I get it. The League Cup is probably, is it? Yeah, probably bigger. Only time will tell. That's the exciting part. Get the beers in, lad, away, says Jason. Do you think he could fall out with any of the players? Well, yeah, absolutely. I think the thing is about Tuchel is he's probably certainly much more of a hothead than Gareth Southgate was. Interestingly, with Ben White, Ben White is obviously now back in contention. I've shared my thoughts on Ben White, and I think the only reason why he wasn't picked for this squad was because he's coming back from injury. And I think Thomas Tuchel more or less said that. I think Thomas Tuchel wanted to pick him. And I think he will pick him the next time this squad's available. And look, from a quality perspective, I don't deny it. But I've mentioned this. I've done shorts on this. Check it out. There's nothing that could have happened in a dressing room with a manager. Nothing that anyone could say to or even do to me that would stop me going to represent my country. No personal relationship with the manager, another player, would stop me going to represent my country. So I'm really torn on Ben White coming back in. I just think, how dare you ever turn your back on your country? I don't care what anyone said to you, what's upset you. I genuinely don't care. I don't care how bad it was. Nothing would stop me from coming to represent my country and rising above it. And I just think, we don't know the full story, but I think the way I'm counteracting that is that's no excuse, because I can't think of any reason that would stop me from playing for England. So it's a tough one for me, that. But I just think we've all got to prepare ourselves for him coming back in. I think he's definitely going to be back in England's squad. Bit disappointed about White, really. Just doesn't feel right, but I suppose we just have to get on with it as well. We'll know the truth probably. No, I mean, someone's autobiography will release it at some point, won't they? Maybe Gareth Southgate will release one. Steve Holland. So, there'll be something at some point. Hopefully we're all alive, because it'll be some years. But at some point, we'll know. We'll know. I do like that Tuchel clearly isn't afraid to make unpopular decisions. Now, and he can't be. He's got to come in. And I said this in my video. His mandate literally is to win the World Cup. He's not been told by the FA, worry about 2-3 years' time. I need you to bring players through. He's not bothered. He's not, but he's been told to win the World Cup, so he's going to do what he wants. Gate 102, I agree, Gary. If the manager slapped me in the face, I just don't want to play for England. Exactly, mate. I don't know what could have happened to stop me from representing England or saying I'm not going to turn up again. It's just, and that's the problem I've got with Ben White. And it is a problem I've got. It just really confuses me. Really confuses me. But anyway, that's the squad. I just want to talk about, very quickly there, let's go on to this. So you may have missed this in the week, actually, because it sort of dropped and then vanished off the news pretty quickly. The home nations to make a joint bid to host 2035 Women's World Cup. So the Football Association of England, Northern Ireland, Scotland and Wales has expressed their intention to submit a joint bid to host the 2035 Women's World Cup, and that was after FIFA announced that it should be hosted in Europe that year. I mean, given the stadiums that are probably going to be available by that time, Man United's probably new ground, Everton's new ground, certainly, City's expanded ground, Chelsea will probably have a new stadium. I mean, England could host the World Cup on its own, a men's World Cup on its own, with grounds 70,000, 60,000 plus. But, I mean, I think England women, given the fact that we've never hosted, I don't think England women have hosted the World Cup here. I think we'll get it. I think we'll get it. But it's just one to keep an eye on. It's one I wanted to raise in tonight's live stream, because I think, I mean, we all enjoyed the Euros, didn't we, when it was hosted here? So, yeah, possibly look forward to that. But it's a long way away, though, isn't it? 10 years, very long way away. I mean, I'll be coming up to 50. Jesus, that's mad. So, Wednesday, I need to talk about, so anyone who's new in here, because I've seen a few new faces, I've been working on this video for months. I finally got part one done. Now, all I'm going to say, and I'm not going to spend long on it because I don't want to blow my own trumpet. I mean, it's not about blowing my own trumpet, by the way. It's just about saying, I've been on about this for weeks. I hope it's 5% of what you guys are expecting. The idea is I wanted to try something new, try different style of videos. I know videos haven't been as common in these months, but I've just wanted to bring you guys some new content, some better content, if I'm honest with you. That's taken more time, more effort, but I've never done anything like this before. And I'm literally putting the excuses in now, if you like. But I hope you enjoy part one. That's all I'm saying. I've done my best. Please share it when it comes out, because I just want it. I do want this video to be the one that it's sort of the evergreen content as well. I've been reading about how I make this channel a little bit more successful and popular for people to come back in. A lot of my videos very much cover week by week, month by month, and there's not a lot for people to go back and look at. So I thought, let's do some evergreen content, and this is one of them because, knowing my luck, England will now win the World Cup next year, so it won't be that evergreen. But no, every cloud now, I'm win-win either way, aren't I? So yeah, just all I'm going to say is I've promised it for ages. I've let it go a little bit, and it's took me a longer. But Wednesday it is out, and I did time it to fit in with these games, so it gets a little bit more traction. But yeah, fingers crossed. Part 1 is a success, and it'll encourage me to do part 2. But let me know what you think. Honest opinions as well. Honestly, I'm not easily offended because ultimately, I don't do these videos for the just for the laugh of it. I do it so people enjoy them. So if you don't enjoy it, please let me know. But if you do, also please let me know as well, and I'd appreciate it if you shared far and wide. Thank you all for your support. I see stuff coming through now. So Bohemian, Robert, everyone, Game 102, you all know who you are. Thank you so much, Josh. Anyway, so Albania. So who's going? Who's going to the game Friday? Let's have a show of hands. Who is going? I think it's from what I've seen, it's going to be quite a well attended game. I think there's a lot of you there. I mean, I'm going to be there early, so an FYI. I just, for anyone who wants to know, I get there relatively early, and I'll go to the Green Man pub. If you don't know it, just put it in Google. Green Man pub. They always do cracking kebabs up there before the game as well. Or most of the fans, or a good group of fans, will be there. Really get you into it. So yeah, I mean Friday night as well. I'm a little bit gutted I'm not staying over in London, if I'm honest with you, and having a few drinks. But I'll get up there early because I have the day off. So if anyone is up at around about the Green Man before kick-off, let me know. But I think a few of us, I think a few in this chat said they were going, and a few others said they were going as well. So yeah, it'd be really good. Every Nations League is in truth a cup tournament. Yeah, playing a cup game is so different to a league. I mean, I'm just while we're on the Nations League, I'm going to drop a prediction video in the Nations League as well, because of course the quarterfinals of the Nations League are coming up as well. I did almost forget about it, so I'm going to drop one on those as well. Ollie, by the way, Gary, this is he got locked out of my account. Oh right, I'm going to Game Friday, 2 more caps in it. Yeah, exactly, mate. Building up those caps. I will say though, this group that we've got, it is going to be, honestly, it's so frustrating because I've finally built up my caps where I'm relatively high now. It takes a number of years. I didn't realise it was going to take me this long, but I'd like 2-3 years of building up my caps. I feel like I'm finally at a point now where if I was applying to away games or normal away games, I'd get guaranteed an away ticket. But we're now playing teams that will probably only have an allocation of 1,000 tickets or something for an away match. You just think, oh, for God's sake. So I don't think I'm going to ever... I mean, maybe the Serbia one or something like that. I've not even kept an eye on my emails, so I probably missed it, actually. But yeah, it is a little bit frustrating that all of a sudden we've got teams now that the allocation is going to be so small for away tickets. So small. But I do want to, moving forward, I want to try and at least do 1 or 2 away matches each year. At least one. I mean, because obviously things cost. It's not about caps. At the end of the day, it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? Particularly when people buy the flights and everything before they even got the ticket. But yeah, it is a little bit frustrating that there's only going to be 1,000. I have thought on numerous occasions about going out anyway. And because trust me, I think you'd get a ticket. You'd get someone's ticket if you went out. But it's a bit annoying, isn't it, paying all that money and not getting the caps? That really is frustrating. Us content creators should get priority tickets. That would be my wish. Gate 102, honestly, the stick content creators get. In fact, no, that's not fair, is it? I think the problem is like let's say someone like Thogden. I think he's the one that most people hate. He's someone I do know, not personally, but obviously I've seen him on YouTube. When he gets a random ticket to, let's say, England in the European final, when 9 times out of 10 he's probably not covering anything England related, that's the annoying thing. If there's a channel about, I don't know, Villa, Wednesday, Newcastle, England, if that channel has built up a following, they get plenty of ticket, and then they get given tickets, you feel like, you know what, maybe that's fair enough. But it's these YouTubers that just cover generic things and just get given tickets for everything. You know, a big YouTuber who covers football, there's no interest in Liverpool or Newcastle, let's say. None interest at all, but then probably been given tickets for today's cup final. That's where I think it's wrong. But you're right, Gate 102, for England stuff, they should sort us out, shouldn't they? A lot of football channels are now paid influencers. Yeah, I'm not. Well, only the channel members. The channel members do, obviously. Thank you for whatever you do contribute. Really does help me out. But yeah, no, I'm not. I don't get paid by anybody in that way. Far from it. I mean, but you can see that. I mean, fair play. They're living the dream, aren't they? Earning great money, doing what they're doing, traveling the world. Fair play. You don't blame them for taking it. You don't. But you do sometimes think they're a little bit tone deaf. Thugden annoys me because he goes to matches and pretends and acts like he's a massive fan. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's my point. It's like, I think, is he a Bolton fan? Like, fair enough. If he gets Bolton tickets every single week, fine. Go and do Bolton stuff. That's what you're a fan of. That's where. But it's like, you guarantee you now he'll have a video. I'm not subscribed to him, but someone I'm sure it might even be out now because and I remember watching him at the World Cup. He seemed to upload within minutes. But I guarantee you now he's been at the final today, and he's got no loyalties to Liverpool or Newcastle, and I think that's what annoys people. Prefer Niamh. Yeah, the thing is about Niamh as well. She's really good on England stuff. Really good. If you've watched her on Sky Sports with the pick, she knows her stuff. She does actually speak a lot of sense. A lot of sense. There's not been an England squad that she's picked that I've disagreed with. Really, she really knows her stuff. Really knows her stuff. I'd agree with that. But I don't really watch many of it. I should watch more YouTubers to find out what's their magic formula. But I know they do a lot of vlogs, don't they? They don't tend to sit in studios, other than Mark Goldbridge, that is. But yeah, it's interesting. Some interesting YouTubers out there, and you think, fair enough, crack on, you're doing well, but yeah. So yeah, the home nations bit. I mean, home nations bid. Do we feel that's a good thing? Do we feel that something that England have got a chance of hosting? I mean, I think it's great stuff, great news. I think if we can have a World Cup in England, the men's need a World Cup in it. The fact that we haven't had a World Cup back in England since '66 is a joke, absolute joke. When the US have had it twice, 3 times, ridiculous. Josh got to go now. Brilliant stream as usual. My prediction for the game 3-0. Can't wait for the video on Wednesday as well. See you next week. No worries, Josh. Have a great week, mate. Hope you have a great evening. Thank you for joining. What would I do if England lose another final next year, Begarnit? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, right? When we lost the last one, having this to come on to, I think I did a live stream, didn't I, immediately after. I'm not even joking. Having this to come on to actually really helped, because otherwise I'd have been sat there on my own just getting depressed. And the fact that I could just come in here and vent was really, really good. Really, really good. Are you going to the US for the World Cup next year? You know what? I've been talking about this with a partner. I think I might. I think it's all going to be down to money, mate. It is all going to be down to money. I think most certainly, because I think given the size of the stadiums as well, genuinely, I think I'll be guaranteed a ticket. So I'm thinking, do I do a group game? Because I'll be honest with you, I'll only be able to afford to go out there for a few days, a week max. Maybe I could fit in 2 group games, but absolutely, mate. My dream is to see England at a World Cup. So yeah, I think it's the one. I was speaking to my mate Russell about. It's the one tournament when I look at where I started from, building my caps up. It's the one I've probably been working towards all this time. So yes, is probably my answer to that. But again, it depends on how much. I love watching England, but I don't really want to spend in like £5,000 or whatever. It's got to come in at a reasonable price, mate. England men's senior have 100% win record in World Cup finals. Well, yeah. Begarnit, am I still going through pain? I absolutely, mate. I never watch. I still can't watch back the semi-final loss in the World Cup 4 years ago when. 6 years ago, whenever it was now, when we lost to Croatia. Never mind the finals. I don't. Honestly, mate. I mean, the Spain final, it wasn't that bad because we were the second best team. That Italy final, though, I just don't want to talk about it. At home, it's just outrageous. I didn't cry when we lost to Spain. It was different because we'd had the experience of it the year before. I just went quiet for like a day, 2 days, didn't speak to anyone. I had people around at my house and I stood up and literally turned the TV off and walked out the room, and yeah, everyone was just like laughing. But yeah, it was awful. It was awful. But at the same time, it didn't feel as bad because you just felt like, you know what? at some point you swallow the pill and think we weren't the better team that night. But that Italy game, you just think, come on, we're at home. That penalty shootout as well, you just think that now hurts more. That hurts way, way more. Bohemian, it will be interesting if this tariff nonsense is going on in North America when the World Cup comes around. Well, we'll see. England have a 0% win record against the US. Need to... Well, we don't. We do in competitive games, but we've only played them like 3 times in a competitive game, I think. And I think there's been 2 draws and a loss, like a shock loss years ago. I think overall our record against the US, and we beat them 3-0 at Wembley, didn't we, not too long back. Colombia penalties and Slovakia comeback was pure euphoria. Oh God! I mean the Slovakia and Colombia penalty, they were both euphoria, but different types. Colombia was like, yes, proper euphoria because they were filth and all. I can't stand South American teams. They're animals. They'd literally chop their own grandma's legs off to win a football match. But anyway, they were cheating and all that sort of nonsense. But that felt good. That felt, if I was around Colombians, I'd have rubbed the nose in it. That Slovakia game just felt like, thank God. Thank God, because that would have been one of the most depressing moments of my life if we'd have got knocked out by Slovakia. If you don't win a tournament, you want many moments, and we got that in the last 4 tournaments. Yeah, exactly. We beat them 3-0 at Wembley back in. Oh God, you know what? Game 1 or 2. That's showing my age because that feels like it was only a couple of years ago, but it was a long time ago. God, that's the game I'm referring to, but it feels like, God, was that 2018? That's mental. But yeah, I think I think overall in games we've got a far better record against the US than what they've got against us. But yeah, we've only played them 3 times in competitive. I think drawn twice and lost once. I wouldn't want US. I wouldn't want any home nation at the tournament, but I think US would beat us at the home nations. I genuinely would. After Palmer's goal, the fans was going hyper, and England played good for 5 minutes after the goal. Yeah, and that was it. That was it. And it was just 5 minutes, and it was a good goal as well. But it always felt a bit different, that final. It never felt like we were properly in it. Just hope the kickoffs of the latest are 2 a.m. If it gets to 4 a.m, I think my dad will pass out by the 10th minute. Yeah, I mean, the kickoff times are going to be interesting. It's a long way to go yet. Let's see where England land on that stage and stuff. But I mean, if it's 4 a.m, it's 4 a.m, isn't it? I'll be booking days off work. I will literally book the whole day off work if I'm up at 4 a.m. in the morning watching an England game. There's no way I could watch an England game at 2 a.m. and then go to work in the morning. No way. But yeah, it is a long way. We're not looking at, this time in a year's time. We're right on the edge of it, taking place. So it'll soon come around. Yes, Gate 102. So once it drops, I'm able to watch the documentary. Yeah, so I've set it as a premiere, so it's just going to start. And I think there'll be a chat open for people to comment on. You know what? I've set it for that time, and I'm thinking I might not even be able to watch it. But yeah, there'll be a premiere, so people can comment as it's going live. I just thought I've never done one of those before, so I thought, you know what? Let's set it as a premiere. But once it's done, you can go back and watch it. It's just going to be on as a normal video then. Keep forgetting Brazil is 3 hours behind, while US is at least 5 hours behind. Yeah, and obviously depends on which coast. And yeah, there's going to be some shocking kick. I mean, it's not. Is it going to be as bad as Korea? Can you remember that one? Or was it Japan? Sorry. Yeah, it's going to be. There's going to be. Well, there's usually one really bad kickoff time in the group stage. I mean, the knockouts, they tend to try and put them at better times, but probably in the group stage, the odds are England will play one game at silly o'clock. But it might be interesting. It'd be interesting to see what the pubs do. I mean, imagine rocking down to the pub at 3 o'clock in the morning to go and watch England. It'd be quite good, actually. Or maybe it's an ideal time. If I'm not there, maybe it's an ideal time for me to do some live streams at early hours in the morning. Yeah, I seem to remember some other games starting at... I seem to remember some really bad kickoff times at Korea-Japan, but I could be wrong there. South Africa wasn't bad. I'm trying to think I think the Korea-Japan one was the worst one. I don't know. Long time ago now. Long time ago. So Tuchel's squad, I think we're all pretty much perplexed, aren't we? The Albania game, I think we're all back backing Albania, but maybe, like I said, I've underestimated them a little bit. Maybe I have. And next week's live stream, I will be on. I mean, it's going to be quite interesting next Sunday because obviously it's going to be the day before and between the two games. So it's a nice chance for us to reflect on one game and preview the following game after. Australia would be worse, it would, mate. I think Australia, I can't see Australia bidding for it. I mean, they might do a joint one, actually. I think when they talk of Australia, New Zealand and stuff doing a joint one, Chris Lunko, I'm sure I saw that as well. Zaldst, sorry if I've been. Are you at the game Friday, mate? Really feel that Australia should get one, though. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. There needs to be one on the other side of the world, isn't there? And ultimately, that's what makes it a World Cup. But yeah, let's see. I mean, look, we're now all sat here, all jolly and things like that, and thinking new era. We're talking about squads and tactics. Imagine if we rock up Friday night and we get a draw or lose. I just imagine that. And I'm saying lose. Remember, last year we lost to bloody Iceland and Greece at home. You know, Albania, given how well they've played against Croatia and Spain and Italy. I tell you what, things can change very, very quickly, and I'm almost going to end on something like really pessimistic, but it's just like we've got to pace ourselves, me included, because we do, when rightly so, we do feel a bit like we should be getting through this group and it's done and dusted, but it could start to go tits up pretty quickly on Friday night. Because Wembley isn't a fortress. Wembley is not a fortress at the minute. It hasn't been in recent couple of years for England. Used to be, but it's certainly not now. Certainly not now. So, let's see. Just qualify and then Tuchel will start penning his real World Cup squad around October. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of football, isn't there, to be played. There's going to be a lot of players who come in, a lot of players who drop out, a lot of players who are in form, a lot of players who aren't in form. Players like Rashford, Foden, all these players that are either playing a little bit better or you're unsure they're going to be. There's a lot of football to be had. I would want to see the fans celebrating if we win the World Cup. Bloody hell, don't worry about that, mate. There'll be plenty of fans celebrating if we win the World Cup. I think we have the best fans. Just imagine, though, if Tuchel's England is a disaster. Well, it could happen. It could happen. I'm too long in the tooth to sit here and say, you know, it's unrealistic that everything crazy happens in football, but it certainly could happen. I don't think it will, but it bloody could happen. Remember, Southgate's been there a long time. This is a big change. I mean, a lot of these England players have only ever really known Gareth Southgate. So this is a massive, massive change. The whole thing about how the players are in the dressing room with each other, club loyalties, all this lot, the media, you know, it's no coincidence that Southgate had the best form and the best results with England, but also was the manager who got the media on his side the most out of all the managers over these past 60 years. So the media, the relationship with the media is key. And if they start to turn on Tuchel, the players are then going to start to feel the pressure. It can soon turn pear-shaped. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, bloody hell. I'm talking myself into a panic. We're fine. At least Henderson and Walker will be used to a managerial change as they played under Capello and Hodgson. Yeah. I mean, there is some players there that have been around, but there's a lot there that haven't. I mean, having Lee Carsley still in the under-21s as well, so those players that have dropped back down, it's nice to still have that cohesion. Obviously, there'll be managers' meetings between Tuchel and Carsley, and he'll obviously be bringing that. So it's not all like we've thrown everything out, but make no mistake about it, it's a big change. I mean, it was really interesting, actually. There was an article before Tuchel announced his squad, and it was from the FA to the BBC, and Chief Executive Bullingham has said that Tuchel making a brilliant impact already. So the Football Association Chief Mark Bullingham says Thomas Tuchel has already made an absolutely brilliant impact since becoming manager of England's men's first team. I mean, I don't know what he's done. Has he just retailed the dressing room, or I don't know. I mean, he's not even had the players together yet. So unless he's done something, I don't know what he's doing. Unless it's to do with relationships with players or staff or something he's done at St George's Park. I don't know. It's a really odd statement, actually, before any England squad was announced and any England games taken place. But for whatever he's done in the background, there's obviously a lot of meetings that go off, a lot of conversations with players and club managers. So seems to have settled in well, but you would expect him to come out and say nothing other than that. You're not going to expect Bullingham to come out and say, actually, it's been an absolute shit show since he started and he's upset everyone, including the tea lady. But yeah, it just seemed a bit of an odd statement, but again, it just shows you that there's probably a lot going off in the background that we're not privy to, and obviously that's obvious, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. As you know, this usually sticks to about an hour. Really good one tonight. Really good one because we've had the squad up, we've had the preview for the game, spoke about the potential World Cup, spoke about the Wednesday video, and obviously Newcastle winning the League Cup. Really good show tonight on the chat. Really good show. So thank you so much. I usually pick a fan of the week, and this is really hard because I cannot now scroll back through for some reason because my separate chat thing's just broken. So I don't know, really. It's quite hard for me to pick. I mean, Gate 102 has been really strong tonight. Josh, as always, as well. Chris, I mean, I do this every single week, and I put too much pressure on myself, and everyone's been fantastic. But it's been one of the strongest weeks this week for people getting involved and engaging. And ultimately, yeah, we're back. England are back. I cannot wait. Finally, some international football to look forward to. And hopefully see some of you on Friday night, but if not, I will see you all next Sunday, and I'm probably going to drop a video middle of next week actually as well regarding the Nations League, and obviously Wednesday night, please, or Wednesday afternoon, please tune in to the video if you are able to, or if not, after that would be fantastic. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic week, whatever you're doing. Come on, England. I wish you all the best, whatever you're doing, and yeah. Hopefully, we are on our way to World Cup. World Cup starts now. We are on our way to the World Cup victory, hopefully. Cheers, Gary. Loved it tonight, as always. Can't wait for Wednesday. Brilliant. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on my next